BPX TV Réseau, disponible partout et sur vos réseaux préférés. BPX TV Réseau, l'espoir de la culture haïtienne pour tout le monde.
Immigration tintin, met mélancolette moins, li do pas citizen. Li di ouais, oui, moi dit le what, li di m'vote 44. Jodi am sou Broadway, yo tout les barrés. Mes amis, dis-moi, l'op yon débarqué, l'on indien prend fait bac. Est-ce que Christophe Colomb te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que Christophe Colomb te gen Alien 4? Mes amis, dis-moi, l'op français débarqué avant 1804. Est-ce que son tonax te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que son tonax te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que bateau allemand te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que bateau allemand te gen Alien 4? Pendant l'occupation, l'homme yo touye Péral. Est-ce que américain te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que américain te gen Alien 4? Le sang dans cimetière, pas gen Alien 4. Le sang dans cimetière, pas gen Alien 4. Le sang dans cimetière, pas gen Alien 4.
Commissionnaire Marlène Bastien, district 2, consulat d'Haïti dans Miami, avec BPX Production a présenté 5e édition Miami Fête Champagne à concours Enchanté Yol des Roses à Nessa.
Dans l'album solo Yol des Roses là, nous avons choisi 3 titres qui piquent pour concours ça. Tourner la romane, il n'y a que 3.
Vin participer pour gagner et nous dans 3 prix ça. Premier prix $1,500, deuxième prix $1,000 et troisième prix $500. Qui est-ce qui a remporté 3 prix ça yo?
Yol, c'est une femme totale. Yon artiste capital. Yon n'a pas de mi-temps kilti haïtienne. Toute jeune fille qui voulait participer, fini.
Pour yon audio avec une vidéo, dans Miami Fête Champagne 2@gmail.com ou bien sur WhatsApp 786 642 35 35.
Fini inscrit, pressé. Non, BPX TV Réseau, 154-90 Nord-Ouest, 7e Avenue, Suite 106, Miami, Florida. Songez inscription a fini 15 juillet 2025.
Notez bien.
BPX Production a bail talent yo j'arrête pendant toute année.
Déjà, tout organisateur souhaitez bonne chance. Enjoy!
Moi c'est Emeline Michel. Toujours garder BPX TV Radio.
Let other people speak about the advocacy, the step to citizenship. We have a Congress that is really hostile to immigrants right now. It would be something very difficult to secure, but I think with determination, with victory and electoral process, for instance, the midterm, we can flip things around, and then that can give us a different outlight and outcome. But if you are to remain, we've been there before. Under George Bush, it was so tough that people were flying all over the place, going crazy, crossing the border to Canada in order to try to save themselves. You stay, you take some risks, whether you can survive that period of time or whether you are detained. First challenge for people is whether they still have a work permit. Because if you do not have a work permit, it's probably very difficult to continue to have an employment. And if you don't have a job, you cannot pay your bills, you cannot pay your rent. It's become a very hostile environment where it's very difficult for you to remain. Now, those are the times that you can rely on friends, family, and churches, and any organization that can provide some support. In the past, they used to have a lot of sanctuary places, cities and states, and the government is cracking down and trying to dismantle every one of them right now. There are some pockets of resistance, but you have to understand where you are. For instance, if you're in the state of Florida, your risk is a lot higher to get arrested and deported than if you were to be, for instance, in California or New York or in Chicago or what have you. So you have to make that assessment where you're going to live and what kind of protection the state, the local official, and what structure the environment can provide for you to remain, although you can be without work, without a job, without a means to take care of your family. Those are the risks you take, and that's going to take a lot from you, a lot of mental exercise. Whether you want to stay home, not venture on the street, and I know right now even churches are being impacted because a lot of people, as much faith they may have, but they're trying to use very much restraint to stay home and not to be on the street. You don't get on the street, and you definitely do not go hang out and then have a fight and play dominoes, and then we just having a bad time and then start drinking, and then you cause yourself more trouble. That's calling an immigration to come find you. So you cannot be too safe, just not to be on the street when it's not necessary, not to drive when it's not necessary, and if you go to church, you go to work, you go home, and then you stay quiet, yes, the chance of survival may be higher. But knowing that by law you're required to provide your location at all times to immigration. Those are called for judgment, and a lawyer can never advise you not to provide your most recent address to the government. However, survival is a personal instinct, and then you have to decide on your own how you want to live your life if you were to remain here. Maybe somebody else would probably talk about
and they have
the
access
advocacy.
to post office details. They have access to your post office details.
Not only that, there's interconnection with the federal government. For instance, you could quietly have your tax return, but IRS would provide your information to immigration and USCIS or ICE, and they're making it very, very, very difficult for people to remain. In fact, the government best bet is for people to start deporting themselves. That saves them money, that saves them time, that saves a lot of energy. But then you can decide how you're going to take proactive action. For instance, do not run to the border to go to Canada. There might be a safe way. For instance, those people who have immediate relatives and people, I'm not a lawyer in Canada, but there are ways you can channel your way to immigrate there without risking going there in the wrong way. Because if you go to the border without any sort of documentation, you risk being sent back, and you're going to be delivered directly in the end of ICE. Those very people you're trying to avoid, you're going to be right there on the laps. So it's not time to go crazy, as we've been advised here to be calm, but just the best thing I think she had said, if your mind is not stable, you cannot make rational decisions. So fear never cures any problem. So try to find best information and to act with knowledge so you know what best to protect yourself, your family, and your future. So, blanc yo fèm gaspiller bon anglais là. Ça veut dire spécifiquement pour les gens qui décident pour y apprêter. Parce que il y a des gens qui survivent en pile période dans le pays ça. Et sous bouche, bagaille était difficile en pile, il prend les gens à droite à gauche, il y a des gens qui parcourent au Canada, et puis après ça, ils viennent par TPS, ils courent tourner encore, ils sont pour chercher dans l'arrière parce que tête n'est pas posée. Pour qu'à poser, pour garder qui ça qui bon pour vous. Est-ce que vous voulez risquer rester ou bien vous voulez prendre action pour immigrer de façon légale et sûre et certaine dans l'autre pays? Par exemple, moun qui gen ti moun qui te fait Brésil, ti moun ça a toujours gen citoyenneté brésilien, yo ka tourner dans pays ya. Et m'kwe parents yo capable aller avec. Sou gen possibilité ça ou explorer pour connaître qui gens ou ka aller l'autre bon ça. Si ou même ou pour le Canada, gen façon légale ou capable aller, ou capable prendre contact avec avocat canadien, mais de façon de pour gen famille Canada, tant que maman, papa, frère, sœur, ou capable de rentrer au Canada légalement sans pas besoin de paniquer. Mais sans pas faire ou pas courir à le faire tête chaud, parce que tête chaud pas jamais résoudre aucun problème. Cherchez une bonne information, cherchez comme ça pour faire. Mais si vous choisissez pour être, faites attention. Parlez de brigandage, parlez de bataille, parlez de hangout dans le la rue. Et si tout n'est monsieur, faire respect nous, pas lever mes souffis, parler dans la bataille à moun. En pile, nek chaque jour, il est dans la prison pour être bal fille. Et même fils ça lui-même, il pral vraiment demander, genre avocat a te dit, pour le faire la guerre. Mais quand il y a la bagarre a dépassé, il va pas la guerre parce que là, il a mais Haïti, j'en ai besoin de ça. Quand il y a là, il pas là pour le payer caillou, il pas là pour les doigts de Timounouyo, et ou même il va même venir tout pour connaître qui est noué. So pas compliqué la vie nous, pas faire bagarre qui pas nécessaire, pas agir comme mon fou. Un client qui dit me connaît depuis nèg la bal problème lié les police a vinn aider. Police pas là pour l'aider, il là pour arrêter moun. So dès pour relais, il faut jouer nos moun pour l'arrêter. Décider est-ce que c'est ça que bon pour vous, comme avocat a dit, si vous en danger tout bon, pas ou supposé faire ça qui est nécessaire. Mais pas faire pour intéressant, ou bien pour le faire monsieur ouais, ou bien pour comprendre que la police a parlé avec vous, parce que la police n'est pas counselor et pas ça à faire. So faire attention, gérer tout, rester un peu la caillou, pas ouvrir porte pour nous pas connaître, pas parler à nous pas en affaire. Si tout nous même des détails à nous pas connaître, n'a pas toute vie nous. Faire respect nous que mettre information nous pour être nous, comme ça bon Dieu a béni nous la protéger nous.
Thank you for being here, PBX TV, Reseau. I'm fortunate to be here, surrounded by royal people. I enjoy singing for you guys. Let me give you a little sample. Time to say goodbye. I love you. Thank you.
So I wanted to go back to the planning piece. I think we touched a lot about how we handle our emotional regulation, mais pas planifier pendant peur, right? So literally your brain does 3 things when you're scared: fight, flight, freeze. None of those help cognitive processing. They actually impede your ability to process and rationally decide. Oh, whoosh! That's us. Okay. Pas planifier pendant peur. Gain 3 bagailles. Say it again. Pas décision. Pendant que tu fais leur peur. Il campe, il fait bataille, et puis il sous glace. Il pas faire rien. Il veut courir, excusez-moi. Right? Pendant vous voulez courir, pendant vous voulez bataille, pendant vous pas faire un pote, paralysé, ou pas même planifier, choisir rien encore parce que girl dit from vivre. So we're not planning from a place of fear. There are 3 options presented before you of what you can do. Figure out which of the 3 make sense for you, for your household, for your community, and for your financial status. Gen 3 choix gen devant. Chita, avec tête tout clair. Après, vous faites petit exercice, respirer. Et puis, dit, dans 3 bagages ça yo, ça me fait. Ça me gagne l'argent pour faire, ça me gagne moyen pour faire, ça me gagne monde qui ka aider me faire. So, si vous voulez quitter les États-Unis, mais vous n'avez pas l'argent pour aller à l'aéroport, regardez le plan ça, faites un autre plan. Ça me fait. Pour l'autre bagaille qui a aidé, le bagaille au doigt, le besoin faire vite, c'est au moins safe. So something else that can really help you in the times where things aren't going well there. You have all 3 of your plans, you know what you can and you cannot do. Create a safe word. So you can call somebody and say, hey, pineapples, for example, and hang up. That person knows we're enacting a plan for safety. Whether your phone is being recorded, sit down with somebody face to face, turn your cellular device, pick up your phone, turn cellular connection off. So Siri's not tracking you, Instagram's not tracking you, WhatsApp's not tracking you. Pendant planifier, prends un moyen pour avec moun devant face à face. Prends téléphone ou retirer cellular sur lui sur moun pas attendre et puis parler. Si on bagay arrive, c'est ça n'a fait. Même mon n'a dit le bagay au double. So si moi me dit par exemple ananas. T'as parlé avec fouet parce que c'est plus facile. Ananas. Moi me dit ananas on connaît, bagay rouler et ça vous fait. So même si on fait un seul coup de fil, tout le monde qui est dans la communauté connaît leur relais ananas, faut relais moun ça, faut relais moun ça, faut relais moun ça. Al prend petit moyen, al fait ça, maman la caille, maman papier et ça pour faire avec. I'm not translating that into English. If you didn't get it, sorry for you. And so there are certain things that you want to make sure that you have planned out explicitly outside of going to therapy, getting those things in place, that they're written down somewhere. Your documents, just like if you're running for your life, like we made it like domestic violence. You have a hidden album in your phone. Whether you have a Samsung or you have an Apple phone, nobody's walking around with their passport on them for all of the documents. Take photos of those items and put them in your hidden folder. So when I have clients that are actually running for their lives, that are actually in domestic violence situations where they're not able to pick up all of the documents, they generally have their phone. We go to the bathroom with our phones. So, pour une photo tout papier au besoin, mettez un album dans téléphone qui caché. Même si vous pas gen Apple ou gen Android, il y a un moyen pour chita sur une photo, mettez doit tout sur lui, puis la demander est-ce que vous voulez cacher. Vous mettez caché, ou qu'à cacher pour album seulement ouvert avec photo, ou qu'à mettre un numéro, un mot, qu'à quitter album ça ouvert. So, même si vous pas mettez dans le premier album là, ou qu'à faire deuxième, troisième album qui dit Anana. So, on connaît le bagage au doigt, Anana. Ou gen password là ou ka aider dans moyen ça.
Real quick, what I wanted to say is that if you do take the route where you create power of attorneys, it's very important, guys, because a lot of times Haitians, they have, you know, a whole lot of family living there, the kids are living there and everything. They're like, oh, if I get taken, my mom will take care of the kid. Your mom will not be able to go do things for your child because your mom does not have the authority. So it's very important that you guys understand that, okay? Yes, your mom can feed your child, but what about school? What about health? They're going to ask, where is the guardian? Where is the parent? Your mommy or dad, they're in the house. They're not going to be able to do any of that for you without a legal document allowing them to do so. So it's very, very important that you guys do that. The other thing too that I felt to say before.
We'll say that in Creole first.
Okay. Ça qui est très important, c'est parce que en pile dans nous vivons avec famille, nous dit ah même si on prend moins famille moins ka teke ti moun nan, oui famille ka ba ti moun nan manger, famille ka mettre ti moun nan dormir, mais famille ça si que li pas de document légal qui pour permettre li prendre décision pour ti moun nan, pour ka docteur pour l'école, yo pas ka faire pour y a demandé côté gardien ti moun nan, côté parent ti moun nan, c'est eux même légalement qui ka faire décision pour ti moun yo. Alors c'est très important que nous gagnons papier ça. Ça que moi te voulais dire et pas dire nous avant tout, si que nous décidons de faire par attorney, monsieur Zedam, agent c'est lui qui pour gagner original là, nous-mêmes nous avons copie. OK, so pas partir avec original là. OK.
Speaking of rational decision, believe it or not, I've had clients that called me qui get TPS, qui ont comme dans banque qui m'ont dit est-ce qu'elle a toujours acheté caille? That is not rational. Trust me. So, qui veut dire que ou même qui dans une situation ça, c'est pas moment pour acheter caille bon ici. It's best to pose it to figure out what are you going to do with your affairs. Chercher condamné.
Don't lie on your thing to say that you are.
Oh, well, speaking of that, if you've lied, surtout by menti dans l'application mortgage, surtout fait fraud, il est possible qu'il y ait des problèmes. Mais n'importe fraud que vous faites, nous ne pouvons pas garantir que vous pouvez pas là. Ça dépend des situations où, si vous avez code sur if they find out you did fraud, quand ça vous pouvez pas payer. Mais si vous ne faites pas fraud, soit chez Kaya, normalement, tout papier, vous avez faux documents, faux taxes, you still get droit sur Kaya. Mais j'aime dire, ce n'est pas le moment pour acheter Kaya. This is not the time to purchase a home pour faire un investissement. Et si vous avez un dans banque, if your ID is expired, your TPS is expired, you can go to a consulat pour faire un passeport haïtien, right? Pour gérer comme qui est dans banque. But right now, c'est mon proposer tête ou pas faire tête chaud. I'll join professional pour ça vous fait.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead and say it in Creole and then I'll...
OK, raison que moi pas vraiment parler de guardianship là, c'est parce que c'est un lot et comment dire, on l'autre procès que lié. Procès ça, faut que vous mettez un avocat là-dedans. Procès ça coûte comme. C'est pas seulement que vous remplissez un papier et puis vous venez gardien et puis c'est ça seulement. Parce que qu'on est là ou devant un juge, depuis que gardien ça pour faire décision pour tout le monde, il faut le retourner dans le court là pour demander juge la permission pour que le juge n'a pas de permission pour le faire. Non seulement ça tout dans le guardianship là, et il faut que nous ayons un annual report chaque année pour que nous fassions, pour que le juge connaisse qui ça qui a passé avec tout le monde. C'est pour ça que dans la situation, ça ne pas parler de lui parce que c'est plus compliqué que si que on fait par attorney. Mais oui, c'est une option liée, mais c'est pour les gens qui gagnent l'argent liquide qui vraiment qui a fait. I didn't speak about guardianship. I chose to speak about the power of attorney is because there's a lot of complications when it comes to guardianship. It's not just filing it and then you get a guardian and then that's it. They have to do guardianship reports, annual reports. They have to it gets very, and then you have to get an attorney involved. It gets very pricey. That's why I didn't talk about it. Is it an option? Yes, it is. However, the reason why I didn't talk about it is because it does get pricey. It's not a simple procedure. It's not just that you go to court, you become a guardian, and then you do whatever you want with the, no. You have to file things in court every year. You have to actually, before you make any decision, you have to go to the judge for the judge to okay, write an order so that you can actually do that decision. It's a completely different process. That's why I didn't address it than a power of attorney.
We've gotten through all of our steps, and I want to thank my lovely mother for bringing everybody water. Thank you, Mom. So we are going to ask our panelists to just maybe give a final word. We want to open up Q&A. I wanted this to end at 8. It's like 7:55. So this is what we can do. The panelists, you can, say your closing remarks. And we can open up the Q&A for maybe a few more minutes for whoever's around to stick around and talk. But I feel like we got a lot of our questions answered. A lot of our questions answered. So quickly, everybody give a closing remark, and then we'll dismiss the panel and then open up for questions. I'm going to ask our representative, Dottie Joseph, to come up and give her. First off, I just want to thank you, Representative Joseph, for coming out, because this is amazing. It's amazing. I know I sprung it on you last minute, but I'm so grateful. I really am, truly. Come on up.
No, of course. We have Sandra and I have a whole other event that's happening at 8, so we're going to run very quickly. But avant de dire rien encore, on bat ton bravo pour mesdames sa yo là. Can I tell you how much I love being a Haitian woman? The Haitian community, #1. Black women, #2. We see the problem and we step up to get it done. And that's it, right? They're doing this, but we're doing this. This is our community. We're responsible. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Combien là pour venir voir belle figure nous? Levez bien vite. Regardez, bat bravo. Où est tout? Ou caché? Non, come on. Don't caché. Let us see me parfois. Sometimes you don't need to be all that humble. Come on, let me see you. Hi. Come on. Okay, so this is the planning committee. C'est eux même qui là cap essayer adresser sur des bagages. So, nous avons besoin de reconnaître ça, besoin de nous voir belle figure, n'a bat bravo, okay? What I want you to understand in this moment is, as a people, we have been through worse, and we survived. We will survive this, and we will continue to thrive, whether it's this country or anywhere else. Et tout le monde qui vient derrière nous a fait bon problème. Y a besoin de ça, y a cherché. En nom de Jésus. So, there's a lot going on, and everybody has to do their part. This is a period where we talked about checking egos at the door. It's not about me. It's not about who's elected, who's not elected, who's this, who's that. Tout le monde se met femme sous, met garçon sous nous, and figure out qui parti shine ou même moi prendre. Parce que nous avons parlé de mais en pile, chai par loup, l'union fait la force, bagay c'est belle parole. Qu'on y a, c'est là que nous mettons en action.
Right. Yes.
This is the time. This is the time. Right? I don't need to tell you what to do or what not to do. Can you grab me that paper right there with my glasses underneath? C'est qu'il y a aussi des bagailles qui te dit là, je devais faire un petit point de clarification. So, ou t'étendais, pas besoin, c'est ça, j'ai besoin. So, sign the documents you need in advance. So, one of the ones you heard about was the power of attorney, mandat, right? Pour bay moun lan autorisation pour yo agir pour intérêt. But I also want you to know, if you do have a lawyer, and even if you don't have one, find one. We gave you a lot of resources of how to find a lawyer, and sign, I don't remember the name of the form, but sign the paper that you need to get your immigration lawyer to have access to you and to do things on your behalf, because once they detain you, it's too late to get that document signed. And they can't give you the information. They might not even give them information about where you're being detained. What is that document called? Do you know what?
The G28 is the authorization to retain a lawyer to work on your behalf.
Okay, not just to return the lawyer, but so that ICE can give them information while you're detained, because sometimes they play games. Oh, we can't talk to you. We don't know, da-da-da. So you have the document. Your attorney has the document in advance. If you do not have a document, this is one of those times where you need to have a lawyer on speed dial. Even if it's, we gave you some resources through Flick, right? You know you got FUM there. FUM is connected with Catholic Youth Charities. HLA is working on a plan. So there are lots of resources in the community, but now is the time. C'est pas le besoin, oh, I need a lawyer. No, you need to do that in advance, okay? We talked about the financial protection. Look into getting a trust, right? Look into getting a revocable trust, because that has additional protections beyond what we talked about now. And then with the power of attorney, it has limitations. If you have a financial account, right? If you have a if you have a financial account, yes, get a power of attorney, but sometimes even that's not enough for them to give full access to your account. So you might need to check in with your bank to see what you need to have a power of attorney on record with them, because they might have additional paperwork that you're not familiar with. So for the financial stuff, that's particularly important, because you don't want them to hold on to your money and nobody has access to it. An easy workaround is to add somebody onto that account. Somebody that you trust. If not anybody, somebody that you trust that can have access to the account, so they don't even need permission because their name is on the account. You have to go in, physically do that. That is one. Another alternative to that is to make sure that you have a trustee, which goes back into the trust. So you either have somebody on the account with you, or you have a trustee. A safety plan. So we talked about different things. You know, sometimes you may not get a chance to call and say pineapple. That's a reality. Each phone has an emergency function. Figure out how it works. That emergency function is usually used if you're getting kidnapped or something, but you can use it for ICE. Nobody needs to know what you're using it for. One time I accidentally hit the button. I was in a whole other country. My brother was scared. Everything's okay. Yeah, I just hit the button. I was in a buffet. Sorry, right? But he had got my location. He was getting ready to fly to where I was. But think about who you need to add to your contacts. That's available both for Android and for iPhone. You may not get to. You might get a chance just to press that one little button. In addition to having an emergency thing on your phone, you may be in a position where you shouldn't have a phone with a phone period, or a phone with internet. If that is you, another thing you should implement is to have a regular check-in with certain people. If they don't hear from you in a day, they know something's wrong. They don't even need to hear from you. You know that it's time to start implementing a plan. Every day or every week, whatever period you think is appropriate for you, have a check-in and have a plan of what needs to happen if that check-in does not happen. Email yourself important documents. We talked about saving it in your phone, but you can email it to your lawyer in advance. You don't need to wait till you need it to have it there. Email it to the key people that need to have it. Et puis, that's it.
Commissionnaire Marlène Bastien, District 2, Consulat d'Haïti dans Miami, avec BPX Production a présenté 5e édition Miami Fête Champagne à concours Enchanté Yol des Roses à Nessa.
Dans l'album solo Yol des Roses là, nous avons choisi 3 titres qui piquent pour concours ça. Tourner la romane, il n'y a que 3.
Vin participer pour gagner et dans 3 prix ça. Premier prix $1,500, deuxième prix $1,000 et troisième prix $500. Qui est-ce qui a remporté 3 prix ça?
Yol, c'est une femme totale, un artiste capital, un potomitan kilti haïtienne. Toute jeune fille qui voulait participer, fini.
Pour un audio avec une vidéo, dans Miami Fête Champagne 2@gmail.com ou bien sur WhatsApp 786 642 35 35.
Fini inscrit, pressé. Non, BPX TV Réseau, 154 90 Nord-Ouest, 7e Avenue, Suite 106, Miami, Florida. Songez inscription a fini 15 juillet 2025.
Notez bien.
BPX Production a bail talent yo j'arrête pendant toute année.
Déjà, tout organisateur souhaite bonne chance. Enjoy!
Immigration tintin, met mélancolette moins, li do pas citizen. Li di ouais, oui, moi dit le what, li di m'vote 44. Jodi am sou Broadway, yo tout les barré. Mes amis, dis-moi, l'on prend yol débarqué, l'on indien prend fait bac. Est-ce que Christophe Colomb te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que Christophe Colomb te gen Alien 4? Mes amis, dis-moi, l'on français débarqué avant 1804. Est-ce que son tonax te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que son tonax te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que bateau allemand te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que bateau allemand te gen Alien 4? Pendant l'occupation, l'homme moun yo touye péral. Est-ce que américain te gen Alien 4? Est-ce que américain te gen Alien 4? Le salon cimetière, pas gen Alien 4. Le salon cimetière, pas gen Alien 4. Le salon cimetière, pas gen Alien 4.